Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this quick live. I'm here for a good time, not a long time today. I have something at 11 that I'm probably going to be a little late for. So today we're going to talk about the 14-day grace period, as everyone calls it. That's all they call it. A lot of people think you can just take 14 days after your settlement date to take as long as you want to close. And I hope that this video will help clear exactly what that means up. A lot of folks think that, well, whatever closing date we pick, we have 14 days period to close after that. That is not the case, not legally. I've seen it cause problems this year, more and more so in a seller's market. I have seen sellers try to back out of their closing after those 14 days. I've seen sellers try to back out of their closing during those 14 days because the sellers do not feel that the delaying party, typically the buyer, has a good reason for delaying in those 14 days. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Post questions, comments. If you think I'm missing something, please put it in the comments below. Feel free to share this. And if you can't share it, tag someone that might need to hear this in the comments or invite them to the group. So as you guys know, on a typical offer to purchase contract that you guys are given forms to do, I'm looking at the the June 2020 version. Maybe there's a newer version. I don't know. So you guys are welcome to comment about that too. There is a delay in settlement that is authorized, okay? This is mostly a good thing with delays with lending, with delays with attorneys, surveyors, things like that, maybe even construction, repairs, stuff like that. You know, it's hard to set a direct closing date on June the 3rd, and your lender has, if it's a bigger lender, maybe 1,000 closings that day nationwide. They don't get you the paperwork. Should the seller be able to run? No, that's not practical, so they've put in this good faith delay. I'm going to read it to you because reading is important. Absent agreement to the contrary, so absent an extension signed by, absent something else in writing. Ask your attorney about that if you want to come up with something. Absent agreement to the contrary in this contract or subsequent modification thereto, if a party is unable to complete settlement by the settlement date, but intends to complete the transaction and is acting in good faith and with reasonable due diligence, with reasonable diligence to proceed to settlement. And if the party is ready, willing, and able to complete settlement on the settlement date, then the delaying party shall give as much notice as possible to the non-delaying party and the closing attorney, and shall be entitled to a delay in settlement. That delay is defined as 14 days. After the 14 days, all bets are off. The non-delaying party can walk away and consider the other party in breach, by the way. That doesn't mean it terminates and earnest money gets returned and everybody goes their separate ways happy. Not always. It doesn't mean there's not a claim there. It doesn't mean any of that. It just simply states the non-delaying party is able. They have a legal right to walk away and either sue for damages or perhaps they are okay terminating. It's important for you to know this. After those 14 days, the seller is legally entitled to relist the property and sell it. At 5:01 p.m., I believe, at least on the next business day, on the 15th day, they can relist it for sale as far as what I'm looking at in this particular contract. Please, please, please know, and here's this disclaimer, if you have questions about this, contact your attorney. Let them look at the exact contract you signed and give legal advice. Don't go out there and start doing things based on this video. This is not legal advice. This is for educational purposes. Always contact your attorney to verify anything I'm telling you here. So let's talk about that. What can we delay for? The only things that are allowed under this provision are delays in which the delaying party is acting in good faith and with reasonable diligence to proceed, and they're ready, willing, and able to proceed on the settlement date. If I have to liquidate my assets, if I own Delta stock and I need to sell 20 grand worth of Delta stock to purchase my property, and I don't do that by settlement date, that is not something that is considered under this provision because I am ready, willing, and able to do it. I just didn't liquidate my Delta stock in time. I didn't proceed with reasonable diligence and good faith. I had all the time in the world. Now, the seller might be happy giving me an extra day or two, and that would be great. But the truth is, I should have gotten this done. And that's on me. I'm in breach. And in my opinion, the seller can walk away if something like that happens. So for goodness sakes, advise your clients to have their proceeds ready, especially with all these cash deals flying around. A lot of times sellers may not care if it takes another week or something to get proceeds, but I'm just talking about what could happen, okay? What's allowable under this agreement. You may have clients that don't care so much about this agreement, but I promise you will have clients that do. So you need to be ready for that. If my lender is not ready, and I've done everything I can to get them ready, and they're still not ready, then I get these 14 days to allow for my lender. If I would even argue if I had a survey done, which is important because no one wants a survey right now and see my last video because it won't be done by settlement. Get me involved. I'm happy to argue that, listen, we're ready. We do need this surveyor to get it done. They promised it would be done on time. It's not. We need another day or two. I will go to war on that. I have not found any case law on this yet, but there will be soon. I guarantee you, because this year it's coming up a lot more than it used to. Okay, and it's certainly my opinion that that's not, that's something that would be covered by the provision. To make it simple, if I'm the buyer, if I'm ready to close and our closing date's June 3rd, if I'm ready, everything I can do is done and ready. Something else is causing the delay. That's arguably covered under this 14-day grace period. It's a grace period. It's not meant to give me a gift of 14 days. Let me give you another real-world example. If I'm in Bermuda and I just don't feel like coming back, I want to spend an extra few days in Bermuda. I've got a purchase coming up. Screw those sellers. They can wait. They've got 2 for 1 at the tiki bar for the next 3 days. I don't get to stay in Bermuda under this provision for 14 days. That's not good faith. That's not acting with reasonable diligence. And I'm ready, willing, and able to close on settlement date, and I don't do it. That's not covered in this 14 days, guys. And I see realtors all the time say, oh, it doesn't matter. And I mean, this applies to anything we could be talking about. Oh, it doesn't matter. We have 14 days. Please don't give legal advice to your clients like that, because you're going to get them in trouble. Eventually, someone's going to lose a deal or get sued, and they're going to say, why did you tell me I have 14 days for anything I want? That's not how this is stated. It's not. It doesn't say you get 14 days, period. It says if you have to be acting in good faith and with reasonable diligence to proceed on the settlement date. You have to be ready, willing, and able to close on the settlement date. If you're in Bermuda, you're not ready, willing, and able to close on the settlement date, are you? If you didn't liquidate your Delta stock, you're not ready, willing, and able to close on the settlement date, in my opinion. Sellers, same thing. You need to be ready, willing, and able to close on the settlement date. If you're in Bermuda and you can't sign seller documents by settlement date because you decide to stay an extra few days, you're in breach of contract under this provision, at least in my opinion. That's all I have to sell, guys. I hope this helps. I told you I was going to keep it brief. Thanks. It looks like we've got 800 members in the group. That's amazing. It continues to grow fast. Invite any lenders, realtors, folks in the profession that you think would be a good source of wisdom in the group or could benefit from what we're talking about. Please post your questions, your comments in the comment section. And also let me know what else you guys want lives about. I'm getting ready to go on another live with a realtor here in a few minutes, so you're probably going to see us again, but it may not be posted to the group immediately. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great Thursday.